What is up, Karatics? In this video, we'll be talking about this week's Triple Money Event Week as well as the property and vehicle discounts. This event week is for July 18th through July 24th, 2024. In regards to new content, the Canis Castigator is now officially available for all players on the Southern San Andreas website. I can't believe how quickly Rockstar is releasing these drip feed cars this time around. They released a new car every Thursday event week since the DLC released, and even two last week. Very, very surprising. So that means there's only 3 drip feed vehicles left to officially release for this DLC, which are the Dominator FX, the Pizza Boy, and finally the Vorschlag Hammer for last. So this drip feed might end, car content wise very soon, probably the middle of next month. So we'll see what Rockstar does. Also, the new Madrazo daily bounties, which are called Madrazo hits, are now available. The payout is about 30,000 if you use Madrazo's weapon of choice. However, this week they're double money, so you'll get over 60,000. But anyways, the current prize ride for this week is the Warner HKR. It's primarily based on the Nissan/Datsun Sunny truck and has a normal price of about 1.2 million and a trade price of about 900,000. To get it for free this week, you have to get first place in an LS CarMate Series race for 2 days in a row. In regards to performance, it's in the sedans class and is an average performing vehicle in that class. It's pretty slow and very slidey. It's more of a drift car the way it drives. However, the customization is pretty great, being a tuner's DLC car. Continuing to the test ride vehicles for this week, we have the Bullet, the 811, and the Raiden as well. And all 3 of these are a Move website vehicles, so definitely make sure to pick them up this week if you don't already own them. And for current gen console users, we have the Karen S95 as the HSW test ride vehicle for this week. Continuing to the casino podium vehicle, we have the Hakachu Drag. Is primarily based on the Suzuki Hayabusa with a custom drag kit. It has a normal price of just under $1 million. In regards to performance, it's in the motorcycles class and is a top 3 performing bike. However, with HSW, it is the king of the class. It's not even close. It turns into an absolute rocket, and it's just so much fun to drive. I absolutely love this thing, and it's one that I highly recommend trying to win this week. In terms of the dealership cars this week, in luxury autos, we have the Castigator and the Yosemite 1500. Continuing to Simeons, we have the Stinger GT, the Cognoscenti, the Baller LE, the 9F Cabrio, and the Hexer as well. And all of these are Move website vehicles, so definitely make sure to pick them up this week if you don't already own them. Moving on to discounts, in terms of property discounts, we have 30% off the apartment properties from the Dynasty 8 website. Continuing to the vehicle discounts, starting off in the test ride, we have 30% off the Bullet. This one is again a Move website car. It's in the supercar class and is sadly the slowest car for track performance, and unfortunately it has no visual customization options. However, being an OG supercar, it makes sense if you like the styling. I think it's a pretty great car to own for that alone. Next up, we have 30% off the 811, again also a Move website car. This one's in the supercar class and is one of the top 3 fastest cars in the supercar class for top speed, not including HSW. But unfortunately, this car has terrible handling. It essentially handles like a muscle car, but worse. Just a strange one to drive, and some argue that the styling is a bit strange as well, but I still think it's a pretty cool one to own in general. Continuing, we have 30% off the Raiden, again also a Move website vehicle. This one's in the sports class, obviously great acceleration being an electric car, but the top speed is pretty low and the handling isn't all that great. And even the customization is a bit lackluster, but I guess if you want to own what's essentially a Tesla in-game, you might consider buying it. Moving on to Simeons, we have 30% off the Stinger GT, again a Move website car. It's in the Sports Classics class and is a below average performing car in that class, which is to be expected for an OG classic car. And unfortunately, it doesn't really have any visual customization, but this one is just such a good looking and classy vehicle that I think it's definitely worth owning just to have as a garage queen. On to Legendary Motorsport website, we have 30% off the Tyrant. This one's in the supercar class and has some great styling, but that's pretty much where the positives end for this car. It has the slow handling flags, which makes it go slow over bumps. The customization is very lackluster with only a few options. And then the biggest issue is its scaling, which is completely off in comparison to other cars in the game. It's just way too big and just looks really strange when you park it next to other sports and supercars. Just an absolute mess of a car overall, and one that I don't really recommend buying. Onto the Southern San Andreas website, we have 30% off the Conjo SJ. So this one's in the Coupes class and is one of the slowest cars in that class. However, the customization is very good, which is really the whole point of this car, and in that regard, I think Rockstar did a great job. And lastly, onto the Benny's website, we have 30% off the Nero. So this one's in the supercar class and has pretty average performance in the class. However, till this day, it still remains to be my personal favorite Bugatti base car in the game with its active spoiler, the way it drives. It's just a very well-made car. And obviously, if you want, proper customization, you can always upgrade it to the Nero Custom, but you will lose that active aero spoiler. Moving along to the gun van, we have the following weapons available this week, and 40% off the service carbine as well. In terms of triple money, we have triple money NRP on select community series jobs. In regards to double money, we have double money and 4 times RP on hot ring circuit races, plus double money NRP on the adversary mode Rhino Hunt, G's caches, Martin Madrazo contact missions, and the new daily Madrazo bounties, which again is going to pay out over 60k with double money if done with its weapon of choice. But remember that it is only available for bail office owners. In regards to the weekly challenge this week, if you complete 3 of those new Madrazo bounties, you'll receive 100,000. Continuing to the weekly vehicle robberies from the salvage yard business, again these only change once per event week. We have the cargo ship robbery with the Click, the Duggan robbery with the Dominator ASP, and the Podium robbery with the Virtue, and to mention, obviously none of these are claimable this week. And lastly, for the time trials, this week's normal time trial is LSIA2. I highly recommend a quick bike for this one. For the premium race, we have the Muscle Car Race Muscle In. I highly recommend the Dominator GT or the Buffalo STX for this race. And if you're on current gen, I highly recommend using the HSW Vigero ZX/ZX Convertible. And lastly, for current gen console users, the HSW time trial is run alternates. As always, the HSW Hakachi Dragonwood, the best one for these. In terms of my vehicle discount pick of the week, I'm going to have to go with the Nero. I think it's such a well-made car for the styling, driving feel, the decent performance you're getting out of it too. It's one of those few cars that doesn't really need a Benny's upgrade, but if you want more customization, you obviously still have that option, but again, you will lose the active aero spoiler functionality. Anyways guys, overall this event week I would say is slightly above average. The Castigator being officially available and the new daily Madrazo bounties are a nice addition, and double money is actually pretty decent. So with that, I'd give this week a solid 6 out of 10. Kind of interesting how they're doing this now weekly Thursday drip feed of cars. They did this in the past and then they started doing it like once a month, but I guess Rockstar, maybe they're trying to experiment with it now just week after week, which I think is definitely the best route instead of once a month. Some of those drip feeds that we waited for in the past previous DLCs was just absolutely dreadful. So if we can see that Vorschlag hammer that everybody wants within 3-4 weeks, that's gonna be awesome. Anyways guys, thanks again for watching. Hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.